So, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to our final speaker of the Netlon Meeting 2024. And he's a man who has requested no long introduction, so I will just give his name, which is Jörgen Engvall from STOKAB. Please welcome him to the stage.
Is it on? Yes, it's on. Hello, nice to see you. There's going to be no introduction of me, because what I'm going to talk about is the city of Stockholm and this. The glass, there's two strands here that's filling our streets and make you walk around like you walk on glass. I'm going to talk a bit about what it is, why it is, and how we came there. And I think also for those who know STOKAB and the city of Stockholm's fiber network, I will maybe have some kind of a few news. No, we are not doing anything else but what we are doing. We are doing fiber, and we're doing it on the depth that we've been doing it. But we're doing a bit more things. Let's find out how this works. The city of Stockholm is quite a special place coming to the fiber optics. Some years ago, the city decided to make the roads, like in Rome, equal with the railways, equal with the digital infrastructure. So that the city took a responsibility for starting a company, STOKAB, that has a responsibility to provide and enable the digital infrastructure to the ones living and working and starting companies in the Stockholm region. So we are provided with a task. I've been at the STOKAB company for 11 years. That's one of the newest. So the company is older than that, and all of my colleagues has been there for a long time. We are owned by the city of Stockholm, and some people say, oh, you're owned by the city. We're a passionate driven company. The company is driven by knowledge and passion. We are a little bit lesser than 100 people. I think if you have had with us in any place to do, you will find out that it's days or maybe hours to have a strategic meeting on every level, because we are as few and we are passionate about what we are doing. And what we are doing is the foundation of everything you've been talking about. Because without the fiber optics, there's going to be a lot less of lasers and a lot less of anything else. So what we do is right away, we do the ducts, we do the fiber, and we do it like fiber as a service. I've been happy today because I heard as a service a lot of time. Yesterday it was other words, today it's been as a service. And we do fiber as a service. If you are going to do fiber as a service, you need to have a network that enables the possibility to have it as a service. Otherwise it's going to be a bit hard to ask the questions and to answer them. And as you've seen, and I think we heard it on absolutely the first presentation yesterday, we was talking about how to do with procurements and how do the public sector do and so forth. In the Stockholm area, with the glass from STOKAB at the bottom, we rent out the fiber by pair to each and every one that has an organizational number. So you can be a company, or you can be some kind of other association, or you can be the public sector, or you can be an ISP, or the ones that you think are the ones that are using the fiber. And there are fiber for everyone. So it's a possibility for a public institution to rent the fiber and then call the ISP and say, in that data center, I want you to connect to enlighten my fiber, or you can have it like an intranet. And there's a lot of institutions in Stockholm, I think a few of them was on the stage earlier today, branches that are using the fiber as an intranet, connecting sites and things, and then choosing where you connect to the internet. and what part of the network you open to the internet, and what part of the network you have as your own intranet between sites. This is the STOKAB network. We are owned by the City of Stockholm. We are related to invest in the City of Stockholm. So when we do investments in new fiber, it is almost in the City of Stockholm, the municipality of Stockholm. But we have a network that reaches farther out, and that's for historic reasons. We can talk about them in some other forums some other time. But this is the network of STOKAB. This is the network with numbers, and now you're going to reach into the fact that you walk on glass when you walk in the City of Stockholm. Because in the City of Stockholm, you have fibers equal to 48 times around the equator just in our network. So if there's anything in Stockholm, there's fiber. We have them in the railway systems, we have them in the tunnels, we have them in the seas, and we have them in the streets. We reach about 400,000 apartments with the FTTH part of the network. Single strands of fiber to each and every one in those buildings, ×2 plus a bit more. And that's delivering in about 14,000 points in the network. That's on the FTTH structure. And as you see, we have more than 23,000 delivery points in the network. And we always go ODF to ODF. Always dark fiber, never anything of what you do. So you uses it. This is the City of Stockholm. This is the City of Stockholm. The yellow dots are not everything in the network. It is the dots with the FTTH connection. So for each and every one of those, there's as many strands of fiber as there are apartments or possible businesses, ×2 plus a bit more. But then we have the ODFs for the businesses, and then we have the old neutral ODFs, and so with that, in Stockholm, you really walk on glass. And this, you can see, the blue lines you saw, there was a lot of blue lines. Each and every one of the blue lines can be up to, we build a network with 110 ducts, pipes with 110 millimeter. In each and every one of those, we can put 4 subducts. And in each and every one of those, we started once upon a time with about 96 fibers and thought, oh, we're good. The standard application we do right now is 640 fibers. We built a lot of 1,000 fiber cables. And the biggest one I think we've established is 1,000, and the last number is my problem, 772 or 78. Some mathematics will find out which one it is. 1,770 something fibers in one cable. 3 centimeters in diameter. Works in that canalization too. So with those ducts, and you see the standard, we digged up the Sveavägen one time. We put down the one that did that a lot of years ago, used their head. You don't need to dig anymore. You have the ducts. And when you think that a 96 fiber cable is not the correct one, you put a bigger one in the next hole and you reconnect and you put it out and you reconnect and you put it out and you, yeah. We do it with manholes. You see the manhole there over the Vasan 0032. There's a manhole. The network in Stockholm is a cross-connected metro network. It's built by manholes and cross-connects. So there's not cable between A and B as a standard. There's a cross-connected systems. You can choose a lot of routes between the places A and B. With that said, we are working with APC contacts in the backbone network. At the customer side, you can choose whatever you want. APC, LPC, SC, whatever. We deliver what you want on the customer side. In the backbone, it's APC. With that said, and with that picture, we are going somewhere. Someone says that fiber is out. You've already built the fiber. We're building fiber to each new commercial building. We're building fiber to each new real estate building where you are going to have apartments. And we are trying to evolve the system. Just to be fiber as a service, you need to be fiber everywhere. Because if you aren't fiber everywhere, and if you're owned by the city of Stockholm, someone is going to say, how can you have a model like that? The model works if you fulfill your engagement. The model works when you build to everything, and there are almost every time you ask fiber on it. In the STOKAB network in Stockholm, you have a fiber in 10 days in ordinary delivery time, 5 days if you pay an express fee, if you have the A and Bs ready, to everything. The good thing with the fiber built and also the fiber built with the FTTH structure is that the fiber doesn't care what you do with it. So if you built a structure like we did, thinking that each and every apartment should have more fiber than one so that you can choose on a singularity level, and the market made a platform with active services that you needed just one fiber, then you have a fiber for something else. You have the fiber for the indoor releases of 5G, or you have the fiber for. So if you are using one fiber to lit up all of the house, you have 96 fibers to do the commercials on the wall, or the mobile network on the roof, or when you go to 6G to put the antenna on the wall instead of the roof, or the 7G, where is that going to be? Where is the fiber going to be let then? That's where we're trying to be. And we're also trying to be how to provide the fiber structure for the ones that are coming to Stockholm and passing through Stockholm, the long-haul networks. Are that the same networks? Do we need to do something? Yes, we think, and we're doing. The Metro Connect between the DCs. What do you need to do to fix so that structure will be the best? I will talk a bit about that. And to have the 6Gs and the 7Gs, it's a question of having a lot of fibers to a lot of places in the streets and at the street level. I think we're a bit done with that, but we're doing more. We're building also outside in the street level. You will look at those colors, and I will take some water. Just inside of the STOKAB network, you can reach out of Stockholm up to 6 fully diverse routes. And to Stockholm, there also are cables from a lot of other companies. So the Stockholm is a hotspot in some way for data connectivity. I know that historically, a lot of those connections has been to route traffic to a place on the other side of the water that's no one's talking about anymore. So let's find out what's happening with that. Is Stockholm to be a hotspot even after what's happening now? Or is it to be the one hotspot where you need to have contacts with them? I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. But Stockholm has been a hotspot for a lot of traffic that's been going to the big one at the east side, historically. You can reach Stockholm just inside of our network this way. We've been starting to do a bit like this, just to map and to show the length and attenuations of the cables. And then my network people are saying, what are you showing? Because these estimates are made for the highest losses we are able to deliver. We are good to deliver in each step. So these are the lousest route mappings that we could produce on that. So they say, why do you show it? So when you find these pictures afterwards, this one is not going to be there. Because I haven't made the disclaimer that says these are the lousiest ones. The data center sector is of course a sector that are bubbling and that we need to find the ways to help to come to the data center, to come to the cloud, to come to the businesses. So we have mapped a few of the data center sectors around Stockholm. We can say that each and every one of the data centers in Stockholm you can reach with the STOKAB network at least 2 fully redundant ways. A lot of them 3 ways, a few of them 4 ways. Fully redundant in all of the network structure. So it's not just 4 holes in the building. It's all the way through the network. We are doing a lot of work right now, just on the theme that to understand how to follow the market forward. So we are investing a lot of money to enhance the network between the data center areas, to make the routes shorter, to make the cables for some bits of the network longer with fewer cross connects. So we have the cross connects for to loop in and loop out, and we also have trunk cables, which we haven't had before in that way. So we are renewing ourselves to follow the market and try to support and enable to be a fiber as a service structure. We are always looking to do more on this. So when someone's interested, that's just, if we are going to do fiber as a service, we need to know where we are going and how. and to dig in the streets, as you know, it's costly and slowly. So if you want to have an on-net solution in 5 years when someone asks for it, you need to start digging. And if no one tells you where to dig, it's going to be so if you have an idea where you want to fiber in 5 years, please tell us, and we can start building. With the times we are going to, and I'm going to show you a picture of green things in a bit. We are in times now where even more companies and peoples and organizations are thinking about security, robustness, and so forth. We are in a loop with commercial real estate owners to talk about how they could even better understand where the fiber network is today around their buildings, and how to be able to have more redundancy with the already built network. Because a lot of things we've been building is not documented by the real estates, and we also maybe hasn't been documented in a way that we can answer fully redundant when it's fully redundant. The FTTH structure is built by an area node to an access node to a property node in the structure, but we also have the network of point to point where we deliver fully redundant to a lot of businesses. So a lot of commercial buildings already are fully redundant built. But, and I think we have to talk about NIS 2, but when you are thinking about the future, you're thinking about NIS 2, you're thinking about healthcare. How can you reach also the residential buildings with more redundant fiber? That's a bit in our head. So this is a block in central Stockholm. The buildings as such is not there. There are 10 separate real estate apartment buildings in that block. The STOKAB network today reaches with FTTH each and every one of those 10. If we should have a question about redundancy, we would look at one at a time. But if you are talking NIS2, and if you're talking about more of a societal grip on redundancy, this block already has entries and extries with the STOKAB cable network, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 routes. So it's fully possible, if you built a network inside of that block and you documented it with the full redundancy, to deliver for an healthcare or something with redundancy that you aren't easily done if you're not taking a step back and look it on a bigger picture. And that road we are into now. To look at how are the network documented? How can we do better than just deliver the narrow answer when someone asks a question? Sorry. Since the law of electronic communication in, I think it was 2016, someone can correct me if it was 15, STOKAB has systematically increased the security, the deliverance, the backup systems around our nodes. We've been doing that with projects with the PTS and so forth. STOKAB is not directly hit by the law of electronic communication because we are the dark fiber network. But we have the access nodes that are points of aggregating traffic in the operator's network. So for their sake, we are doing it, and we're doing it much better than the stakes are. And we've been doing it systematically. But nowadays, we also do this. So this is area nodes. We have them in a few places. We have strengthened up now, so we have diesels and so forth in the area nodes that are existing today at a lot of more capacity than we used to have. But we also have these. These are an area node, and it could be set into action. We just plug in and start, if needed. You see what they're called? Berit and Berra. We have capacity to withhold the network with diesels and mobile power plants for weeks. The STOKAB company has a stock of everything in the passive network, and we are the passive network. So the contacts, the cables, so forth, of quite a lot more than 1 year. So you can put a new boat in the channel, and we can still work. One of the things with being owned by the city of Stockholm and taking a responsibility a bit further out than just the deliverance is that you can do that, and we are doing that. So with things happening, we should be able to withhold the network in Stockholm as the best of practice and for those types of times. And I think that, for me, is quite impressive. We are doing things also in the 6G and the 7G area. So for the 7th generation of the mobile communication, our friends at Ericsson has, since 2018, had their quant communication link experiments in the city of network of STOKAB. So there are projects like this around the globe, but they are mostly inside of laboratories. They are doing it in the real network of STOKAB. So they are chasing their photons around the cross connects and around everything that they are going to have to have it work with when they are going to deploy it in the system. So what Gemma does is for the 7th generation of mobile technology. And since a time, yeah, I think this one is, if you do fiber and people are talking 70, you don't need fiber. And that's good when Gemma says there's going to be a lot of fiber and more fiber and even more fiber to be able to have some mobile communication. So that's just for strengthening the back and feeling that you have a role to play even when everybody is running around and think everything is mobile. You can look up Gemma. She's the head of those projects at Ericsson. And there are nowadays quant communication infrastructure projects on EU level when they are going to do what Gemma has been doing, but in a European perspective, and they are doing it in the network in Stockholm with STOKAB. So I think it's quite interesting to be involved with making a city where it's possible to walk on glass, where you can do things like this and still just be the one that are doing dark fiber network as the platform. And I've been trying to not to say this, because I wanted to hear, whoa! Yay! Because this year, the STOKAB company comes 30. So we are still curious, still looking around the corner, still looking for the 8th and 9th generation of mobile technology, and still wanting to be the ones with the cables that you can have all your Maxes and Paxes and X's and Pixes on, that we don't understand a bit. But we are together, we are making something work. So with that, thank you for your time.
Are there any questions for Jörgen? We've got 2 questions here. Yeah, please, Dimitri. No, you first.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm very impressed. You know, Ukrainian ISPs are now mandated to maintain 72 hours of connectivity on GPON. Most of them can't. I'm asking, what's your plan if the mobile networks in Sweden are shut down? How you would your staff communicate? Let's assume that the 5G and LTE network in Sweden are down, and how your management and out-of-band plane would work in this case. Assume anything right now. Solar flare, any agents. What's your out-of-band solution for your staff and for your equipment?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm the right one but with that said, we have all of Sweden are now in planning for having. I'm supposed to be at work, so we have a structure for that. I don't know if it answers, but I think all of Sweden are put in since a few years back now. Again, we are like it's called krigsplacerade. So we have the companies are staffed to have as lot of positions as possible with. And I think we are the city network of Stockholm, but there are networks in each and every town, and you have the Telia network and the Telenor network and the So I think, but as I've heard, one of the great things in Ukraine has been like there's been a lot of ISPs, a lot of solutions, a lot of that has worked just because of the fact that they are not the one, or am I?
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
And there is also this universal 3-tier like in Sweden, like the basic, the connectivity layer, and the third. It's pretty much every man, every company for themselves. But there is some moves to that. Yeah. I live in Vilnius personally. They do have fiber neutrality, but they don't have the separation of the transport layer and the communication layer like you have, as I heard from one of your colleagues. Yeah. But thank you. I mean, it's great. I'll pass the mic to the second person. Thank you.
Hi there. Will there be a STOKAB birthday party?
I think they were to have one at the office next week, but you had to sign in for it, and I missed it. So,
Sorry.
but maybe we can have that on the.
We have another question over in the front there.
Thank you. Yes. Very impressed that we don't have in Italy this kind of network. You're a huge network. I'm just curious. You never start studies like using your huge and big network, of fiber for detect earthquake.
Yeah.
Just I'm curious, sorry, because you have really good.
I understand that. The thing with the company, the STOKAB company, is that if we would do that, we wouldn't be existing anymore. Because to do that, you need to have active equipment. And if STOKAB put active equipment in the STOKAB cables, STOKAB would be out of business, because we are just to be a neutral platform. But with that said, it's quite okay for someone to do that in the cables. And I don't know if, but I think at least when you talk to the traffic systems and so forth, they are talking about having the fiber as measurement instruments and so forth. But not in with orders from us. Because if we did, we wouldn't be existing. The market has accepted STOKAB for to be just the neutral player with just the ducts and the cables. So if we were lighting it up and doing anything, we wouldn't be STOKAB. No.
Just a quick question. I guess for some years ago you have been connecting to Latvia or some.
Yeah.
And what happened to that connection?
STOKAB had built a cable that went to Visby, to Gotland. And from there, I think there are a cable going to Latvia. I think it was when that cable was built, there was restructures of who was CEO of STOKAB. And the cable to Gotland is also now, we have sold it. So it's Global Connect owns the cable to Gotland. So we are just in what you saw there. And I think we built the cable to Gotland just we built that because the region of Gotland is a part of the Stockholm healthcare system, and we have connected everything in the healthcare system. So it was some kind of a logic to have that one to.
So if
we are still 25 minutes on, so it's good.
You want to go back to the office and join that meeting?
No, I think it can be about 8 hours when you give me a PowerPoint and a stage. So I think I was quite okay with this one. Yeah.
So if there are no more questions, then please join me in thanking Jörgen for a fantastic presentation.
Thank you.